Hello, welcome back, Catherine. Welcome back from the break. How's everything in San Clemente so far? Anything new?
No, not really.
Okay, still same issues about
Yeah.
quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that you know that tells you that the situation is going to change in the following weeks?
No, not really.
Not really.
We we are thinking about the next week, the October the 7th, but probably not because of the high levels, the high amount of people with the virus.
Yeah, it's basically connected with the behavior that people have whenever a region or a place is moved from one stage or phase to the other one, right?
Yes.
Is anyone else in quarantine in here? I mean, not specifically you, but the place where you're living is, because I know San Clemente is in quarantine. Is any one of you living in a place where you are quarantined?
Me, my place here, Teno, starts tomorrow. So
Oh, okay. Midnight.
yeah.
And how are people behaving? Do you see people rushing to buy in the supermarkets or stuff like that? Do you see lots of changes?
Well, when I go shopping, I mean grocery shopping, there's always a lot of people. So I think it's gonna be great.
Okay, so it's a good measure to keep level the number of people who have been in contact with the virus or in the houses, right? Not specifically on weekends, but also on weekdays. Tenor might be which phase? Phase 2 going to 1? I didn't know Tenor was going to be on a quarantine. Well, this situation is quite dynamic, right? It's ever changing. We need to be aware of the changes in order to you need to keep updated, right? You need to keep updated. Yeah.
Teacher, I send you through the chat a caption of the teams. That's to you look how the teams sent the invitation to the meeting.
All right.
This is how it looked like.
Okay, thank you so much. I've had some issues at times whenever like I start a meeting, but some people have already joined the meeting through the calendar. I don't know if you have had that issue.
Yes, sometimes happen.
So there are like two meetings at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how how it's possible to do that.
I don't know either. There are many mysteries about Teams yet. Yeah. So let's focus on strong and weak forms. And before we start with strong and weak forms, I want to show you a couple of images. There are four actually. And my questions are: who are they? Can you tell me where they appear? Which movie? What do not to? What do they like? What their role is in the movies they are part of? Can you like describe them a little bit? Anyone interested?
Which one?
You choose. It's up to you.
Okay. in bottom right, there is Gandalf.
Uh-huh.
He appears and well, that specific character in the movie Lord of the Rings. Well, are 3
Mhm.
movies. He looks like a mage because he is mage, and his role is maybe someone who balance the world.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the jobs of the mages in that world, and that's it.
Okay. What was the word like that you used? He looks like a.
A mage.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much. Um, can anyone or does anyone would anyone like to describe another movie character? Some of them are book actors as well, right?
Yes, all of them are part of books actually.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that their movies are based on books.
Very good point. Very, very good point. Uh, they are, Guillermo says, they are from different ages of our history and locations. Anyone would like to describe another character? No, no one knows any of the other characters.
Um, the second one
Okay.
is it's Jack Sparrow. He's played by Johnny Depp, and that character appeared in Pirates of the Caribbean. And as I said, he's a pirate, and that's it. I think.
All
uh,
right. And anything else?
mm, what else? Mm,
All right.
I
The
think that's
pirate.
it. He's
Okay.
a
Very good.
pirate.
Thank you so much. All right. Any other participant would like to describe any of these movie slash book actors through the chat or using the microphone?
The girl is Katniss Everdeen. She is the protagonist of The Hunger Games.
Okay. She's a protagonist of
The Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games, right? And I didn't get the last name. Katniss.
Katniss.
Katniss Everdeen.
Okay. I'm going to try my best to spell the last name right because I'm not familiar with the last name. All right.
It's
All right.
like this. I sent you through the chat. It's Everdeen.
Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you, Catherine. Wonderful lifesaver. All right. Okay. Let's see if I can share the. So there is Gandalf. He appears in the movie Lord of the Rings. He looks like a magician. His role is, well, he balances the world, not the word, right? The world. Let me add an L here. They're from different ages of our history and locations. This is what Guillermo shared in the chat box. The second one, he's Jack Sparrow. It is played by Johnny Depp in the Pirates of the Caribbean, and that's it. He is a pirate. The girl, sorry, not the girl. The girl is Katniss Everdeen. She is the protagonist of. She is the protagonist of The Hunger Games. I'm sorry, I tried my best typing this. So, there's Gandalf. Which element do you think is more prominent in this sentence? There's Gandalf. What do you think?
The name.
The name, okay. What do you think in the next one? He appears in the movie Lord of the Rings. He appears in the movie Lord of the Rings. Which elements are the most prominent in this sentence?
Appears.
Appears, all right?
And the name of the movie.
Okay. All of it or just some?
Lord and Rings.
Okay,
Rings.
Lord and Rings. Okay. What about the next one? He looks like a magician. He looks like a magician. Which element or elements are most prominent here?
Looks.
Looks and
Magician.
okay. And his role is, well, he balances the world. Which elements are most prominent here?
Role.
Role, all right? Is that it?
And balances.
Balances, all right? That's it. Anything else? No? Let's take a look at the next one. Sorry about the first capitalized T. They are from different ages of our history and locations. They are from different ages of our history and locations. Which elements in this sentence are the most prominent ones? What do you think?
Different.
Different.
And history.
History, all right. All righty. All righty. What about the second one? He is Jack Sparrow. The second one, he's Jack Sparrow. Elements are you consider to be prominent there?
Second.
Second, all right. Is that it?
And Jack.
Jack, all right. What about the next one? It is played by Johnny Depp in the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Played.
Played, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Maybe Johnny.
Okay. Johnny. In the Pirates of the Caribbean, anything that you consider to be prominent there?
Pirates could be.
Pirates could be, all right. What about the last one? And that's it. And that's it.
That.
Okay. That. What about the next one? He's a pirate.
Pirate.
Pirate, all right. And finally, the girl is Katniss Everdeen. The girl is Katniss Everdeen.
Girl and Katniss.
Girl and Katniss, all right. What about she's the protagonist of the Hunger Games?
Protagonist and hunger.
Protagonist.
And
Hunger.
hunger. Protagonist and hunger. Okay, all right. All right, so what do they have in common? The elements that you consider to be the most prominent ones in all of these statements, what do they have in common? What do you think?
They are like stress words.
Yes, they are stressed words. And also what Guillermo is sharing in the chat box, they are verbs or adjectives. Exactly, verbs or adjectives. They are content words. If you remember from your grammar lessons, content words are category, right? They are an open class category. Why are they open class? Because in general, you can add more verbs to a language. You can add more nouns, adverbs, etc., etc. So they are an open category, right? Content words are nouns, adjectives, verbs, and adverbs, right? Those are the content words, all right? As we're talking in this lesson about strong forms and weak forms, content words only have strong forms. They don't have weak forms because as they carry the meaning in a sentence, in an utterance, when you're communicating, you want the listener to hear what you want to say, and you stress the nouns, the adjectives, the verbs, and the adverbs, and you use a strong form. You don't use reduced forms in these specific words, okay? So whenever you are using content words, you're using them using the strong form because they don't have a weak form. But completely different thing is when we talk about the function words, because function words have a strong form and a weak form. In general, the one that we use is the weak form. When I mean function words, I mean, for example, prepositions, conjunctions, pronouns, right? All these words which fulfill a function in a sentence, but they usually don't carry any meaning, okay? So these function words have a strong form and a weak form. Let's give an example. For example, the preposition to might be transcribed like this, right? With a long u, to. But when we produce the weak form, we used a schwa, t. I'm going to travel the next weekend. I'm going to travel, to travel. I'm going to travel, to. I'm not saying I'm going to travel. I'm going to travel. So I'm using a weak form, okay? Are you going to Santiago, or you're coming from Santiago the following week? I'm traveling to Santiago, not from Santiago. In that case, I'm emphasizing the preposition because it's very important to make the listener aware that the direction of when I'm traveling is to Santiago and not from. So in that specific context, I'm emphasizing the preposition to, and I'm using the strong form, But in general, for a preposition, because it's a function word, I'm going to use the weak form. Okay, to. Another one, for example, for a pronoun, you. Yeah. Do you like chocolate? Do you, I'm not talking to her, I'm not talking to him, I'm talking to you. Do you like chocolate? In that case, I'm emphasizing the pronoun you, therefore I use a strong form. If not, in general, the pronoun is going to be used as with the weak form. Do you like chocolate? Yeah, not you, yeah. Do you like chocolate? Do you like chocolate? Do you like chocolate or vanilla ice cream? Yeah, weak form. You, the strong form. Okay, so that's what happens with strong forms and weak forms. That whenever we have to use a function word, we need to make a decision. Most of the time, we're going to use the weak form. Most of the times, we are going to listen other speakers using a weak form, and that has an impact on communication, has an impact on the way that we are perceived as speakers of English, and the way we understand other people using words, because function words usually are going to be used in their reduced form or in their weak form. For example, in the first exercise, how many brothers and sisters have you got? How many brothers and sisters have you got? I would say that and, whose strong form will have a trap. In this case, we're not using the strong form. We're using the weak form. How many brothers and sisters? So we might use a trap, schwa and an n, or even we might use just an n, a syllabic n. How many brothers and sisters have you got? Brothers and sisters have you got? Okay, and have, I don't think we might use the strong form here because it's sort of an auxiliary verb, but we're going to be using the schwa, right? How many brothers and sisters have you got? Have you got? Sisters have, even some speakers would elide the first h, right? And start with the schwa and then of. For example, when you say should and have, should have stayed or should have go, should have continued or should have shut up, right? Should have. Okay, so the first one is the strong form of the verb have. The second one is one weak form, and the third one is another weak form that can be used by speakers, all right? Let's take a look at this information in the next slide. Weak pronunciations are more frequent. Function words are the one in which we can find weak and strong forms. Which are the function words? Prepositions, auxiliary verbs. This should be auxiliary verbs. Modal verbs, pronouns, possessive adjectives, conjunctions, articles. Those are called function words or grammar words. Sorry. Oh man, there are a lot of mistakes here in this slide. I should correct this. Or grammar words, right? We're going to be using function words, but other authors may use grammar words, okay? Now, I'm going to ask someone's help in order to read the following slide. In this case, I'm going to ask for Claudia Saez, if you are here and you are available. Could you read this slide aloud, Claudia, please?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you.
While some functions words have no weak form at all in, on, of, when, others have more than one weak form, depending on the phonetic context. Do I have to read the Oh, okay. Weak forms is not the same as concreted forms. It's with. Which words only have strong forms? Nouns, main verbs, adjectives, adverbs, content words, or meaning words.
Thank you very much, Claudia. Alrighty, let's not confuse the contracted forms of, for example, it is, it's, or we have, with, or they are, there, right? With weak forms, because that's something different, okay? And the ones that only have strong forms, the content words, right? We just, Claudia read very well all what we are going to consider content words, all right? This is also part of your grammar classes, right? By the way. Features of weak forms, we have some elements here. I'm going to, again, require someone's help. And maybe, Maria Francisca, could you read aloud this slide, please? If you're so kind and
Yes,
are available.
of course.
Thank you.
Okay, I read it all, right? Okay. Reduction is the length B, B, B. Vowel reduction towards a weak vowel R, A instead of R. Elision of vowels is Z instead of is. Elision of consonants him, im instead of him. Function words with elided H are more common than the unlighted ones, except in sentence initial position where only the latter are possible. In those function words which have alternative weak pronunciations, one with schwa vowel and another one with schwa vowel deletion. And, can, does, was, will. The former generally occurs before vowels, can, and the latter before consonants, can.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Is this clear? Is this not clear?
Yeah, so.
Okay. So how can we identify a weak form in a word? In the first case, it's a matter of length, right? Remember that the colon indicates length, basically. So when we say B, we have this E right here, which has some characteristics, right? It's high, it's frontal, it's tense, etc., etc. We already saw how to describe vowel sounds the previous semester, right? Between this one and this one is the length or the duration. So it's basically, it's like saying E and E, 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 E. When we say E, this one, we're not producing this short Lex E, which has a different quality in terms of vowel sound. It's completely different sound, okay? So when we reduced a a syllable, right, or we use a weak form, the word is, you can find that the length of the long vowel sounds is reduced, but the quality it remains the same, okay? That's why you see the same symbol here, E, shorter, but we're not discussing this, which is completely, is a symbol representing a different sound. Remember, feed, fit, E, E, E. And if you don't remember that in the first one right here, you spread your lips, and in the second one, the one which I circled, you don't spread your lips, okay? So do not confuse this one, okay? It's the same vowel sound. The only difference is the length, the duration of the sound. How can we identify a weak form as well? Because a vowel sound turns into a schwa. Like in the case of R, we hear Hawaii, Hawaii, Hawaii. All right. The car's there. The car's there. Becomes Okay. So in a weak form, instead of a regular long vowel sound, we see a schwa. How can we identify a weak form? Because there's elision of vowels. Elision means deletion, means that one thing disappears, right? It's not there. So instead of is, we may see or we may hear z. He's there. He is there. He is there. He is there. He is there. I'm trying not to use the contraction. He's there. Okay, I'm not trying to use the contraction. I'm trying to use the full form, but trying to reduce the vowel sound almost to just the consonant sound, z. So that's another way that we can recognize a weak form. There's an elision of a vowel sound. One vowel sound is elided. It has disappeared. There's also an elision of consonants in these weak forms. For example, in the case of him, we can hear im. For example, let's see, give, given, give him some reward. Give him a glass of water. He is so thirsty. You can tell from his look. Given, giver, give her some time to answer. Give her some time to think. Give him some time to think. Given, giver. Okay? So we can elide this consonant sound here. Of course, some speakers would say give him, and that's totally fine. Give her, completely fine. Many speakers elide this in a regular conversation, right? Give him, give her, tell him to come, tell her to come, tell her, tell him. And if you see, the final sound of the verb give is a consonant sound. The final sound of tell is a consonant sound. So you can go from a consonant sound and the preceding sound, a vowel sound, right? And tell, a consonant sound and the preceding, a consonant sound, and then you connect with a vowel sound. Im, give him, giver, tell him, tell her. Okay. And this would not be the case if you had vowel sound connecting with him or her, right? Like to, you wouldn't say to her, or to him. I guess it's most common to hear to her and to him. So in this case, you have a final vowel sound in to. So I would say most speakers retain this consonant sound at the beginning of her and him. To her, to him, and not to her, to him. All right, that sounds quite weird. And number 5, in those function words which have alternative weak pronunciations, one with a schwa and a vowel, another one with a schwa and a vowel deletion. And, can, does, was, will. The former will occur before vowel sounds and the latter before consonant sounds. This one, according to this paragraph, occurs before vowel sounds, right? before vowel sounds. I guess it is easier as before in the previous example to connect this consonant which has a schwa before a vowel sound with the following word that starts with a vowel, just like the example before, and the letter before consonant sounds, right? This is called a syllabic n. Also in a question, for example, can you swim? Can you swim? Can you speak German? Can you play the guitar? Can you dance cueca? Can. In the question, you might use a weak form, which can be can or k and a syllabic n. Syllabic n is that this consonant sound is acting as a nucleus of the syllable, but it's sort of replacing the schwa here, okay? It's like it's still hiding vowel sound here, and this is sort of represented by this dot below the symbol. So in the question, can you speak Italian? Can you dance hip hop? The answer should have the strong form. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Can you speak French? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Right? So in the question, you might use the weak form, because in the question, the important element, I guess it would be the verb and the noun. Can you speak French? Speak and French, right, are content words, and therefore they are can you dance, right? So the modal, but when you are answering, you want the other listener to understand that you can dance quicker, that you can speak German, that you can cook or swim. So you have to use the strong form. Which forms, Guillermo, that's an excellent question, are considered part of the way native speakers use the language, as English is considered a lexical stress language, and you go from stressed to unstressed, stressed to unstressed syllables, right? Therefore, at some point, you have to reduce some syllables, and as such, in English and in many other lexical stress languages, the stress is taken up in is assumed by the content words. So content words are the ones that are going to be always going to be strong. But doesn't mean that if you use weak forms, you're sounding less formal, because that's basically connected with the way that English is structured. English is structured in terms of rhythmical patterns, rhythmical, consistent patterns of strong beats and weak beats. So this is all connected, right? Lexical stress, and prominence in syllables, and when we use strong and weak forms, right? So it's not less formal if you're using weak forms, right? This is the way that the language is structured. So you are expected to put more emphasis on content words, noun, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs, and you are expected to put less emphasis on function words. You are expected, and you sound more natural if the function words, when you use them, you use the weak forms. Of course, you can use the strong form with function words, but it's not going to sound natural. It's not going to sound as the rhythmic pattern that you are expected when using the language. I have three exercises in this. That's a great question, Guillermo, by the way. Maria Ignacia Munoz Araya, would you mind reading the example, please? and also identifying which words are used, which weak forms can you find in this transcription? So, Maria Ignacia, do you have a working microphone? Sometimes I feel like I speak too much, and then, you know, you as a student need, I don't know, you need to go and get a glass of water, and you go, and then I actually call you, and then, so I'm going to call Maria Ignacia again in a minute, right? Maria Paz, do you mind reading this aloud? And find the weak forms, please. Is Maria Paz here?
Yes, I am.
All right. Thank you.
She's been a vegetarian for 10 years now. In the weak forms, for, she's.
Perfect. I'm sorry. I think I made a mistake with the first one because I got carried away. Okay, excellent. You got them all. You got them all. Perfect. Not for, but for. Not a, but a. And not she's, but shiz. But we can see that the transcription is not a long E, right? But the length has been reduced, but still with the same quality, right? The same qualities. Excellent. Thank you so much. You got them all. I have another exercise, and I need another volunteer. Thank you, Maria Paz. I'm checking the chat box in case I have a volunteer. I'm sorry, Maria Ignacia. Okay, I totally understand. I connect myself with a cell phone, and my connection is not very, very good as well, or either. Valentina Fuentes, can you read this example and try to find the weak forms, please? Let me check the chat box. Valentina, do you have a working microphone? Well, 5 minutes to finish this session, by the way. Okay, maybe with the next one. Okay, let's take a look at this. If you were working on this, the weak forms are that's, but. Okay, that's and but. Okay, that's strange. That's strange. In general, we use the weak form for this demonstrative adjective. That's strange. Unless you as a speaker want to emphasize the demonstrative adjective, saying that is strange. But then I guess you would have to separate it. That is strange. Okay, but is usually unstressed, or is usually, sorry, the weak form, the one that we used, right? And then the next one, anyone would like to read it aloud and identify the weak forms? Or maybe put them in the chat box. Guillermo Martinez, what about there in the previous? there, right here at the end, there. Well, there, if you look it up in a dictionary, you know, there, where do you want this bags? Here or there? There, right? There, it's a word indicating place, right? It's an adverb of place. And adverbs are content words. So in general, you use the strong form. Now, there is the transcription for sort of British version. It's not there. So there is the same word without the rhoticity. It's a non-rhotic transcription, right? But they are not there, but they're not there, there. Instead of there, right? But it's still the transcription of the strong form. So there would not be a weak form, all right? Good question. In the following example, the shirt was pretty expensive, but the shoes weren't. The shirt was pretty expensive, but the shoes weren't. The shirt was pretty expensive, but the shoes weren't. We have the article, the. We have the verb. And we have the, and we're missing the conjunction, right? You already know that the article and the conjunction and the article again, you have to use the weak forms, right? But was, in general, you can use the strong form, which has a wedge in General American, or a short O. So you can say like was, or was. The shirt was pretty expensive, but the shoes weren't. The shirt was pretty expensive. I guess the most important element, or most prominent elements here, are pretty expensive, particularly the adjective. Of course, you can read it in a different form, but the shirt was pretty expensive. The shirt was pretty expensive. Was, okay. So I guess that's why you can have this weak form for this verb, right? But the shoes weren't. But the shoes weren't. In here, we don't see a reduced form because we have the full vowel here, and it's not reduced in terms of length. We don't have this, right? We still see the colon, so it's the full form of the vowel sound, right? Let me check the chat box in case there are any questions before we. In the following slide, there are some. These contain some websites. In the first one, you can see which elements are which function words according to the category can be used. Let me see if I can show you very briefly, very briefly, the website. Sorry.
Teacher.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, please.
For the quizzes of Monday, we'll enter all the contents we have even seen.
Fantastic question. For the quizzes, we're going to talk about, we're going to deal with lexical stress. We're not going to include the syllable, how to syllabify a word, right? The syllable structure, the constituents of a syllable, like, you know, onset, nucleus, and coda. we're going to consider only lexical stress. Okay.
Okay.
All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste the links in the chat box for you to take a look at. Okay, there they are. And my suggestion is visit the first link and also the other ones, specifically the first. Why the first one? Because the first one contains information connected to function words. Okay, this is the website in that you can find the first link. Okay, by Martin Weiser, you can find here, for example, determiners and quantifiers, the strong form and the weak form. Pronouns, the strong form in the middle column and the weak forms in the last column. The same thing for prepositions, the same thing for conjunctions, auxiliaries, right? So this is a good website for you to take a look at, for example, does, strong form, does, weak form, okay? Should, okay? And the other links have to do with sites where you can find speaking practice. You can listen to the conversations, and then you can identify if the speaker is using weak form in any of the sections of the dialogue. On the left hand, you have dialogues 1, 2, and 3. So you can click up any of these, and you can choose any of these, like dating, for instance. And in dating, you have many different dialects, okay? Like, I don't know, sweet dreams. I'm choosing just any, okay? And here you can listen to the, okay. You can listen to the dialogue, and then after that, you can repeat it on your own, or you can practice with someone, and then you can identify the weak forms in each one of the statements, okay? So that's a good way you can practice for this, okay? Questions or comments before we finish this session? I'm sorry for taking up so much of your time.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes, you said that for the same word, sometimes you have two weak form, right?
Sorry, yes, I was muted, sorry. Yes.
Yes. But depending on what, we use one or other weak form.
Well, if you are listening, it's very, I mean, not very easy, but it's easier to tell whether the speaker is using, for example, and, or n. Okay, when you're listening to the pronunciation, you can probably tell which weak forms the speaker is using. But when you are, for example, let's see if we take it to evaluation. If you're facing a statement, and in the statement you can identify function words, you can use if you have more than one weak form, you can use any in terms of transcription. I mean, when it's a written exercise, there's no way to tell. But when it's a listening exercise, you're listening to someone actually using weak form. Therefore, I guess you just need to pay attention to specifically which weak form the speaker is using. Okay, but in a written exercise, I mean, any of the weak forms is going to be correct. I don't know if I'm answering the question, if that's the way that the question was leading.
Yes, yes. But I just was thinking about I don't know. Probably there are some rules or something that told you you can't use this weak form if you I don't know if you're referring I don't know. Sometimes English have strange rules.
Yeah, English behaves in a very, very odd way. But I'm not going to be, I'm not going to punish you for using one weak form over the other one. I mean, in one of the slides, a suggestion was given about can, and kn before a vowel sound and before a consonant sound. But for me, if at least you are able to identify in a context that some words, specifically the function words, have weak forms, and you can identify in a context in which of the elements, which one of the elements should be pronounced with a weak form. That's basically what I want you to do, because this requires lots of practice, and it requires you to be exposed to many different speakers, to many different topics, and you'll have more time. It doesn't mean if you're taking phonetics and phonology class that you are becoming experts as soon as you finish the semester. This is your second and last semester in which you're dealing with topics connected with pronunciation. But in other classes in this semester, next year and the following, you are going to be exposed to English. So the idea is that whenever you are listening or talking to someone, you are aware that not every single element in a sentence should be stressed, or that when talking, you're not going to use only strong forms, that there are weak forms, and that they have an impact on how much you are able to understand, right? And so it's very important to take this not so seriously, to understand the rules, how to apply them, but also be aware that this is a long road. So you are training yourselves to become teachers. But then this is a long voyage, a long-term travel. So you are going to keep learning even after you finish this program. Probably you will take other courses. Probably you will continue learning. That's the main goal, right? So therefore, these rules are going to become more natural, are going to become less troublesome in terms of theory, but you're going to just apply, right, this spontaneously, not really thinking too hard on which rules you should apply on a specific context. Okay, so the more you read and the more you listen are going to be quite beneficial for you, more than trying to memorize a set of rules. Okay, that's the piece of advice, the invitation, and the suggestion that I give you. Try to read and expose yourself as much as possible on a daily basis. On a daily basis, if you disconnect yourself too much from anything, not just English, your muscles, right, start to weaken, so metaphorically speaking, right? So try to stay connected with the language every day. Watch movies in English, right? Listen to different accents. And not only for this class, consider this a mission for you as you are getting trained in this program, and you are learning on your own. Okay. Last question for you. This is the PIN233, section 2. When I'm just confirm, because I lost the notebook where I wrote the date. Did we agree on a specific date for the quizzes? I know it was next week, but was it on a specific date? a specific day? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yes, you said on Monday the 5th. Yes.
Okay, if not the Monday, which day do you think would be more convenient for you? Which day you have less, you're more available in terms of your own schedule? What about Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday? I don't know your schedule, that's why I'm asking. Or Monday is good for you? Is Monday good for you?
I think that will be better on maybe Wednesday or
Okay.
or Thursday.
Well, Tuesday or Wednesday? All right. But Ignacia says on Tuesdays you have classes all day. Wednesday would be great. What about Wednesday? Since you have said Wednesday, Danielle is saying Wednesday. Maria Paz said Wednesday. Would Wednesday be okay for you? Yes. Carolina says that she's available Wednesday. Same with Aaron. Guillermo too. Shall we schedule on Wednesday? All right. So on Wednesday. Okay. All right. Okay.
Teacher.
Javiera?
But what time would it be?
The whole day.
Okay.
All right, good question. Very good question, Javiera. So the idea is that on Wednesday, the 7th, the quizzes are going to be available from 8:30 up to midnight. And it's your responsibility to log in to the LMS and to take the quizzes. That day, the listening and the writing quizzes are going to be available from 8:30 up to 11:59 p.m. in the LMS in the tab called Evaluation. Okay. I'm not sure if today, Friday, or over the weekend, I'm going to upload the rubric and the instructions for the speaking quiz, which will consist of a voice recording of a passage, not a long task, but a task that will demand from you reading aloud for a minute, I guess up to 1 minute 30 seconds. Yeah, 1 minute 30 seconds, probably 2, I think, maximum 2. I need to confirm this with Mr. Santos, who's in charge of section 1, because I cannot have a different evaluation strategy with the section 1, right? So let me confirm this before. But I'm sure the rubric and instructions should be available the latest on Monday. So you will have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to upload a very short recording to the LMS. A passage that I'm going to assign as a speaking quiz, okay? And you upload it the same time, the latest Thursday the 7th, sorry, Wednesday the 7th. I'm sorry, I think I said Thursday. Okay. Thursday the 8th. Yes, Thursday the 8th. Okay. So for the speaking quiz, the latest date, the deadline to upload The speaking quiz is going to be on Thursday, the 8th, okay, and at 11:59 p.m., all right, midnight. Okay, so you should have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday up to midnight to upload the recording. Any comment, questions before we finish the session?
No, teacher. It's all clear.
Nope.
It's all clear.
Okay, in any case, if later there's a question, let me know through an email or through a message in the LMS, through Teams, email or Teams. And if the question has to do with something that everyone should know, I'm going to post a message in the LMS, all right? So everyone can know the answer for some questions that concern everyone. Okay, thank you for joining the session. I apologize for taking up so much of your time because it's 1:10 p.m. 1:11. Sorry, truly sorry. Enjoy your lunch. I'll see you next week. All right.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye, teacher. Take care.
Bye.